Hey there, Film Fights with Friends fans. I am your host, Paul Veracci.
I'm your other host, Stephen Kepper, and this is Film Fights with Friends with an amazing fucking episode.
And you can almost say historic episode.
In many ways.
We have Paul Weston. I'm just gonna go right there. We have Paul Weston coming on the show. If you don't know who he is, just take a quick pause, go to IMDb, and
links in the show notes.
And links are in the show notes, and just look at the
yes. And that's not even there's hundreds of credits in there, and that's not even everything. Do you know Return of the Jedi is not on his IMDb?
What?
He was the skiff pilot driver on the Return of the Jedi
for the Sarlacc scene.
For the Sarlacc scene.
Yeah.
That gets thrown into the, to the fucking Sarlacc pit.
That's crazy.
After fighting with Lando Calrissian.
Uncredited as the sword fight choreographer in A Knight's Tale.
Yes. I mean, this guy started on The Saint TV show, ended up working with Roger Moore again on a whole bunch of Bond movies, doubled Jaws on Moonraker.
And got to meet his hero, which is great.
Yes, we won't. Oh, actually, that wasn't in the episode.
It wasn't in the episode.
So we will tell you about that. He told us afterwards about how he grew up. If you read the book, by the way, Paul's autobiography is now available, falling into film.
That's right. And he gave us both Steve and I a copy.
Signed.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Paul.
But he talks about growing up, going to the movies, watching the serials, Roy Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told us after we cut about his story about how he got to spend a weekend with Roy Rogers as an adult, and it was like meeting his childhood hero.
It's amazing. I've met my childhood hero, so I know exactly how he feels.
Yeah. I mean, this is like, honestly, this is film royalty. And so you guys are going to dig this episode. We go through so much stuff, so many movies. I mean, this dude stunt coordinated Aliens.
Dragonheart.
Did I say Aliens?
Aliens, right? Dragonheart, guilty pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
And you all know how much we love American Werewolf in London.
He was the bus.
Well, no, don't tell anybody.
Okay.
They will have to listen.
You're going to have to listen.
You're going to have to listen.
All right, good point.
Yes. So, and Christopher Reeve, we did not get into deeply Christopher Reeve stunt double on Superman, the original Superman, and the stunt coordinator of Superman 2 and 3. I mean, come on. Everything.
Which is crazy because it's like, oh, Superman 2, but Superman 2, at least in the message boards that I'm in, when they're like, what's your favorite superhero sequel movie ever?
Yeah.
Superman 2, there's a huge discussion between the original and the Donner cut.
Yes.
But it's usually it's either Superman 2 or Spider-Man 2.
So for those listening who don't know, that's Richard Donner, the director.
Yes.
There's the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a different movie, gives it a bit of a different feel. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah.
See what you think.
Which is why I'm drinking my beer today out of this mug. Superman mug.
I need to get a cool little sake.
How many beers have I had? You're the one with the mug. I got the pint glass.
Yeah, I said I, not we. You fucking deaf bastard.
So listen, everybody, the link is in the show notes, but go to paulwestonstunts.com or amazon.com, pick up the book, Falling into Film. This is actually volume 1. He said the volume 2 will be out in September-ish.
And he could easily do a volume 3.
Oh, he's totally good. The guy's got decades of stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So check out Paul Weston Stunts. And if you go to paulwestonstunts.com, not Amazon, which I always encourage to buy from the actual author if you can.
And this is an even better reason why, because he will, if you select it, he will sign a copy for you.
Yes, he'll do a signed copy for you, and he will ship to the States or wherever. So definitely, I would say buy it from paulwestonstunts.com, but review it on Amazon.
Ooh.
Because he needs those reviews, man. The almighty algorithm.
The algorithm.
Yeah. So review the book. I'm definitely going to review it. Super, like 5 stars. There's no other way to go. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, and I was going to say something else that's cool that happened. You and I are always waiting to see who's going to get us on set at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Right. But we did have a first.
Oh, this is so funny. This happened last week while we were
shooting with Jude.
With Jude Poyer, our last episode.
So right when we got off, we both checked our phones and we both got a call
for a show from a stunt coordinator.
Yeah. For the same part, which was really hilarious.
Listen, we don't want to drop the show's name or anything yet because we're not sure when or whatever it'll be out, but we wanted to prank the coordinator a little bit.
Yes, we did. I was like, Steve, I was like, dude, I should text him like right now and been like, hey, I'm good, but I'm like, I don't think Steve's going to make it. He broke his ankle.
And then like 5 minutes later, I was going to text him and be like, yo, what the fuck? Paul just went Tanya Harding on me, man.
Like, I think Paul Veracci just came out of nowhere and broke my ankle.
But we don't know this coordinator as well as some others, so we opted to not joke about it.
Yes.
But it was really funny that we both turned on our phones after last week's episode and both got the availability check.
And also very funny that we found out a bunch of our other stunt guys that we know got the same call.
Yeah, they definitely
within our little circle. So it's
casting a wide net for that part, for sure. But neither of us got it, so,
Yep.
We probably should have went with a joke either way.
Yeah, right. Fuck it.
Anyway, dude, listen, we got a long episode coming up, so let's just go to our shout outs and thank our Patreon members.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys rock. We appreciate those of you on Patreon who just listen to us and watch us because we need you too.
And those who pay, who give us a little coinola, we appreciate you guys.
We try to have some good perks for you guys. And on Patreon, they set up this whole new thing. You guys let us know if you're one of the Patreon, if you're one of our Patreon members that watch the show on Patreon or listen on Patreon. They set up a whole new system on Patreon of what they're calling quips, which are basically the Patreon version of stories, like short form content. And they're setting up a network, a quote unquote network, that is essentially like going to be a feed for us to see other creators in the sort of same space.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, it's cool, except it's turning into social media.
Nah.
So it's only really going to work if we use Patreon like we use other social media.
Right.
So I'm not sure how it's going to play out in the long term, but we have gotten a few new free members in the last few days since this started. So we'll see. If you're on Patreon, comment on one of our things, any post, and let us know. Because unlike other Patreon pages, we don't make you pay to comment. Like everybody can comment. Anybody. You don't have to be a paying member to comment on our.
Really? Some you have to pay to comment? I didn't know that.
Yes, and I just actually made a comment on Patreon because there's a podcast that I follow.
I mean, I know it's so funny because I can only get certain information on ours because I am not a paying Patreon member for our own podcast.
Oh, that's right, but you follow us.
You follow us.
Yeah.
So I get all that stuff, but you're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know.
Oh, did you? So did you see the one where I thanked our members?
Because they only let one person be the
admin.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. There's another podcast that I listen to that I subscribe to not on Patreon, just as a podcast through the RSS, right? And it's a filmmaking podcast, and I listen to it from time to time based on what the topic is. And so on the Star Wars Day, they had an interesting topic, so I listened to it. It was really good. And then because of this new system on Patreon, I discovered that podcast actually has a Patreon. So I was like, oh, let me join as a free member and support them. So I went to comment on the episode that I had just listened to for free on Podbean, which is where that's the portal that I get all my stuff from. But it's not for free on their Patreon. So you cannot listen to it on Patreon if you don't pay for it.
Everything you just said now just confused me with your last two sentences.
No, literally, their podcast is exclusive to supporting members only on Patreon, but yet the podcast is free elsewhere.
My brain is hurting, bro.
And I wanted to comment on the podcast saying, hey, really great podcast. and kind of get some engagement going. And I couldn't comment because I'm not a paying member
on YouTube.
Oh no, of that Patreon page.
Bless you.
Yeah. So it got my panties in a twist, and I made a big post about how we will never do that to our listeners. Our show will always be free.
I would hope not, because everything you just said is making my fucking brain hurt.
Yeah. Our show will always be free. We will have exclusive stuff for our supporting members, but
absolutely,
the show itself will always be free to everyone.
I was going to say, we should give Paul a call. We should see if we can do a little.
Oh yeah,
do a little book raffle.
Yeah, maybe we'll get we'll buy a book from him.
Yeah,
and get it signed for a giveaway. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you to the Patreon people who are our free members and our paying members. But hopefully the paying members appreciate the perks that they get.
Thank you to our favorite sponsor, the almighty Stunt Contact.
Yeah, man.
Oh, hell, Stunt Contact.
Stunt Contact. You know, it's so funny because if you think about it.
Yes.
With what we talked about.
Yes.
On this show.
I know where you're going, you old fuck.
Because Paul was one of the people that put together the very first stunt database books.
Stunt registry.
Well, it wasn't even called that back then. It was just called the Stunt Book or something.
Oh, word.
And then when it came back in the 70s as the Stunt Register.
Okay.
But in the 60s, when they put it up, it had 35 people in it. And that was it.
And I think he said now we have, there's like
500 and something.
That's awesome.
But anyway, thank you, Stunt Contact.
And also, I was going to say, it goes into the huge difference in being able to call yourself a stunt person over there and being able to call yourself a stunt person over here.
Dude, if you want to feel
wow, like
dude, if you want to feel like a total imposter syndrome, go onto the British Stunt Register
and see if you can fill out a form and
see if you qualify.
And see if you qualify to actually be a stunt person.
Yeah, I think there are only 2 that I could fully qualify for.
Mm-hmm. I actually think I'm only one.
Maybe a third for me. They do a time in. There is a time in if you've been in the business for a while, I might qualify for that. But otherwise, I think skill-based stuff. I think there's only 2.
I got to relook again. I don't know, but I think I only make one.
Yeah. Australia, we had the stunt performer from Australia training with us this week when he was here, and he was telling me the Australian, they have a register too. It's not as strict as the British register, but it's more strict, obviously, than the United States, which, you could be terrible at everything and still become a stunt performer.
All you have to do is check a box.
Yeah, seriously.
Been like, I'm a stunt person on my SAG card.
Like when I got into SAG, this is the scary part. When I got into SAG, I could have said I was a singer.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been fucking terrible.
But it is, because I've had him fucking sing to me before.
Yes, I have. Paul, my brother. Oh,
God.
You got
not again. Not again.
Yeah. Anyway, Stunt Contact, we love you. And if you are a listener of this show or watcher of this show, you can get a discount if you subscribe to Stunt Contact with our discount code FFWFPOD, all capitals. Film Fights with Friends POD. FFWFPOD. Say it with me, Paul. FFWFPOD.
No, I'm not saying it with you.
Fuck you, man.
No, give me a couple more fucking vowels and maybe I'll throw it in there. But until then, it's not happening.
Want me to sing it to you? FFWFPOD.
FFWFPOD.
There it is. 25% off a daily subscription and 15% off a weekly.
That's not bad.
It's really good. That's not some chintzy little bullshit
10%
discount that you lose once with shipping and whatever.
There's nothing worse than a 10% discount when you pay 8.5% tax in fucking New York. And I was just like, God damn it.
So
I was like, just smack me in the face.
So listen, if you are a stunt performer out there or not, and you need a good breakdown service and you are not yet subscribing to Stunt Contact, do it now. And if you need to renew, make sure you renew using our discount code. It helps us. Makes them want to keep supporting us.
Yeah. And if you're in the New York area and you're looking for a place to train, or if you have an actor that you are looking to train and you are from somewhere else, reach out to Breakfall Studios.
Yep.
And that would be Steve and I. And we are happy to train
people.
Yes.
We don't do animals.
We tried.
That didn't work out well. Does your dog bite?
Which is a great story, by the way, in this episode.
Oh my God, you need to listen. You want that story? Listen to this episode.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and last you'll see two links in our show notes.
Mhm.
Our food drive, which is always there if you want to donate to our food drive on Feeding America. The other is the Technical Standards Program of ESTA, which is the Entertainment Science and Technology Association, and they write all the standards for film and theater industry that will become, the OSHA standards and whatnot, the national standards, and they only function by corporate sponsorships and donations. So they're operating in the red right now. I'm on the work group for the Weapons on Set national standard that's being drafted right now, which maybe by the time this comes out, this episode, the close to final version will be out for public review. But you can go to that website that's in our show notes for the Technical Standards Program and review other standards that exist too. So if you feel like helping the people that help keep you all safe, throw a couple bucks towards the TSP program. It's worth it.
And if all of that seems like too much, you can join our mailing list for free.
Yeah.
At fightingwithfriendspod.@gmail. God damn it, shitballs and fuck ass.
You had it.
I had it. It was right there.
At Gmail.
At gmail.com.
Yeah. Fighting with Friends Pod. The TSP thing also ties into like Paul Weston talking about how there was no health and safety back in the day. So it's all
full circle. What is wrong with me right now?
I don't know. Too many sakis. That's because we record this after the interview.
Yeah, that might be it.
We gotta get them to sponsor us.
Garfield?
No. For those listening, he's drinking out of a Garfield McDonald's mug.
One of the old school ones.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got my Superman pint glass. All right. I think that's enough bullshitting, right? Like us, follow us, subscribe, share our social posts, engage with us. We want to engage back with you.
Get the algorithm or whatever it is to say that we're awesome to other people.
And review us on IMDb, review us on Apple Podcasts. And with that, let's bring in the great
Paul Weston.
Paul Weston. I can't believe we didn't fuck up with two Pauls in the room. Just saying.
I didn't even think about that. Now I'm nervous.
Okay, let's bring in Paul.
And here we are with Paul Weston.
I know, this is amazing. Thank you so much for making the time to do this. This is going to be a great conversation.
I feel like we can say the man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, of course. I mean, we can thank your grandson because I saw his post on Reddit about your book. He's been bragging all over the internet about you. So I was like, oh my God, there's a book out. We have to try and get him on the show.
Well, before I forget, I was going to say that when I was going through this in my head, I think I came up with an amazing character name. So this is what I was going to say. And because I was going through the interview and in my head, I misspoke and I called you Vic. And I was like, oh, his name's not Vic Weston. And then I was like, oh, Vic Weston.
No,
I was like, that is the name.
Oh, yeah.
That is the name of the next action star.
But that's because every chapter talks about Vic Armstrong.
Yes. So our next character we write, his name is going to be Vic Weston.
Cool. So there's so much in this. I mean, literally your entire career and just this book, which is only a part of it. There's so much to talk about. So we figured a good starting point would be where you started the book, which was with, with A Bridge Too Far, if that's cool with you.
Yes.
So I went and watched it again last night just to get it. It's so for everybody listening, if you read the chapter, and we have the books here, and we're going to have the link to pick up the book in the show notes too. The opening is about the parachute drop in A Bridge Too Far, which was directed by Richard Attenborough. Mm-hmm. And in that scene, you're doubling Ryan O'Neal, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So can you tell us your version of the story for those who haven't read the book, and maybe why you chose that scene to open the book with?
I thought that maybe it should start with a bit of action, I didn't quite know how to tell my story, quite honestly. And I thought, well, I better start with some action. And I chose that story, not thinking at the time that it would be the start of my book. What happened is that we were stunt performers on A Bridge Too Far, playing all sorts of soldiers, every soldier, American, English, Polish, Dutch, German. So we were dressed as all the soldiers at different times. And then it came up that they wanted Ryan O'Neill to drop from the parachute from the Dakotas in front of the camera. Which is very difficult on those big old parachutes because there's no control. You
Sure.
just come down and hopefully you land comfortably. So to achieve that, the special effects came up with a system whereby there's a ring about 15 feet wide and it's got little hooks around it. And then the parachute is just hooked openly all the way around this ring. And then the center of the parachute is taken up on a crane, 150 feet up, and you, as the soldier, you just hang on the guide lines. And when they press a button, those little hooks come off, and you drop like a stone. But the weight of the man inflates, hopefully, the parachute from 100 feet. It's not a great.
You ever go to the carnival and they have the thing with the target and the ball and the clown?
Yeah.
And he falls in the water? That's kind of what it sounds like you're describing.
Well, and it almost sounds like the parachute ride at Coney Island, where they would take you up and drop you, except this one, they really drop you.
Yes, yeah. But that's what we were asked to do. At first, they said, we don't want the English stunt guys to do it. We've got the Dutch jump team, the professional jump team.
And so you guys were shooting in Holland, right? You were in Holland.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just outside a little town called Deventer in the middle of Holland. It was chosen because it had the same bridge shape as the Arnhem Bridge had. But the Arnhem Bridge has been so overbuilt around it over the years that they couldn't use it. So that the bridge at Deventer was perfect for them. And they could do what they liked with it and set it on fire, and the original bridge actually melted. So we were just asked to stand by, but you won't be needed because we've got the Dutch team to do it. When it came to it, we were then called back on the set, and we said, "What's going on?" And off went the Dutch drop team, and they just walked off the set. I said, "What's going on?" They said, "Well, we'd like you to do the drop now." I said, "Why?" So they said, "Well, it doesn't matter. We'll pay you £50 each time you do the drop." But we'd been there and we're stuntmen, so you accept it. The production had been good to us. So up we went in the harness. I was changed as Ryan O'Neill. But the problem was that the Dutch guy double was going to do it, went off with the double jacket. So I had to go introduced to Ryan O'Neill and Dirk Bogart, who were chatting away there, and say, "Can I borrow your jacket to do the drop?" And he took his personal stuff out and said, "No problem at all." So I put his jacket on, and they put all the equipment. They didn't make it easy in those days. You had a real pistol. All the equipment was with you, ammunition, and you would then clank up. You went, and you were hanging about 100 feet in the air, and it was a bit windy, but the rig was moving backwards and forwards. And this was the first time. There was two of us going to do the jump. So we were hanging there waiting for the Dakotas to come over. And about 6 Dakotas aircraft came over with men jumping out of it. It was the biggest drop since the actual drop at Arnhem.
I think there were 1,000. I think there were 1,000 paratroopers in that scene. Actually,
they said like 1,500.
Yes, there was 150,000 extras on the floor, on the ground, pulling down parachutes, making it look as though they've just landed. And then you've got all the guys coming out of the parachutes. So it just blended together. They had 18 cameras on it.
Wow.
And they had about 6 cameras in front of us. And we were to drop down in front of the camera. So I was going to be Ryan O'Neill.
On a parachute that you can't guide.
Yes. So on the first time, I was a bit nervous about it. I just had a bad feeling about it altogether. But I figured, we're stunt. We got to do our job. So they told us to stand by. The decoders roared over the top of our heads, and then the men started coming out, and then clank, and I dropped like a stone. It was like I thought, that's it. I'm going to die here. And suddenly it went woof, and the canopy opened, and I hit the floor. But it stung my legs so bad, my feet. And I thought, God, that should have happened. That was a really heavy hit.
And in the book, you talk about the position. They wanted you to take a sort of antiquated parachuting position. And I actually grabbed a screenshot from the movie of you in this position.
It looks painful.
With your legs apart and the heels down. I've done several jumps myself. And, the drop and roll is what you do now. Feet together. And so you were saying in the book that they wanted you to do this historic position. But what's crazy is that, like, when I watched the movie last night, like, all the other paratroopers in the background, they're doing it with the drop and roll.
That's right.
It was just you had to do it the old-fashioned way.
They did. I was the jump master came over to me and said, "Do you know that in 1945 they jumped with their legs apart, heels down?" And I thought, oh, great, because I knew afterwards they changed that because so many people broke their legs and damaged their heels.
Yeah.
So we were ready to go, and that's the way I had to drop. So, and the first hit was heavy, and I was a bit winded, but we got away with it. I thought, that's it. They send all the decoders back, and we've got the biggest shot since 1945. And then there was a bit of talking going on behind the cameras, and I could hear Richard Attenborough going to each camera and said, "And what did you get, Poppet?" And he said, "Oh, I got the parachutes opening up over here, and I saw the Dutch guy go." All different cameras got different things. And he turned around and said, "Did no one follow Ryan down?" And no one got me. They'd all been off on the big shot, So they said, "We're going to have to do it again."
Oh my!
I said, "Well, I don't particularly want to do it again. It was a bit painful."
I mean, that's a massive reset too. I mean, how long did it take to reset that?
Well, as far as I remember,
everybody back to the airport, wherever that was.
Yeah.
We shot it sort of before lunch, around lunchtime, and the next time they were ready to shoot was about 4:35 at night. It was in the summer, so we could have shot on quite late, but they sent everybody back, all the parachutists, and reset the whole thing. Somebody said once to me it was the second day, but I don't remember that. But there I was again, and now it was only me. I was the only one in foreground that was going to do the drop. And I was worried about it. I'd got away with it once, and it stung. It hurt. And the production manager, I got a lovely shot of the production manager trying to convince me to do another shot. And I'm saying, "You know how dangerous this is." He said, "We'll pay you another £50. I said, if anything happened, 50,000 wouldn't be enough, But we had to do it. So up I went again. And but this time, late afternoon, the wind was starting to build up. And the whole rig, the crane rig was like moving, the big circle around me. And I could hear the decoders coming in the distance. And I had the real American helmet on, which was really heavy. And I couldn't get my head back to see how many of the hooks were on. And when I looked up, there was about 6 of them off. And I thought, if the candles, I'm going to go straight in. And I couldn't see if there's any more behind me that were off. So, and I shouted down, but the wind just blew the voice away. It was so windy up there, and I was rocking backwards and forwards. And then suddenly it was clank. I come at that moment. I'd come to terms with my mortality, and I thought, I've had a good life. I've got a wife and two lovely girls. I don't mind if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I just didn't want to be maimed, and that's the only thing that was in my mind was that if this is it, this is it. I just don't want to be maimed. And suddenly, clank, and I dropped like a stone. And it was like when I looked down, it was like driving a car at the ground. I was going straight in, and I hit the floor, and I thought I broke my back and my legs. I just laid there. Not a bit of wind in my body. It was completely out. And the first two people to me who were standing by the side was Ryan O'Neill and Dirk Bogart. And they ran over, and Dirk Bogart was very lovely man. He said, "Oh, Pop, darling, are you okay? You okay?" I couldn't say a word. And Ryan was saying, "Okay, buddy, you okay?" And then I could see the two assistant directors, the third assistant and the second assistant, running towards me. And as they got to me, the second assistant took the third assistant's arm and said, "If he can't go again, get the jacket off him." Because I had Ryan O'Neill's jacket on. But they were doing their job. If I couldn't go again, they had to get the jacket off me. A doctor came and they found I didn't break anything particularly, but I crushed my heels so much I had no fluid underneath my heels. So I was actually walking on my bones for about 2 months after that. So I was walking slightly on my my toes. But that was a heavy number, and it's one I wouldn't want to do again.
You mentioned in the book that there was sort of a superstition about this production, right? Because of mishaps and things, and there was like crew from The Omen or something like that.
Yeah, there was lots of spooky things that went on during the making of that. But mind you, there's 400 in the crew coming and going, so things are going to happen. And there was car accidents. There was just spooky things that happened that everyone put down because a lot of the crew had just come from The Omen, working on The Omen, and they said there was a bit of a curse on The Omen and the crew. So everyone was a little bit aware of there were only rumors and speculation that it could be a bit ghostly, as it were. but with 400 people's family died, and so over 6 months, a lot of things happened to a lot of people. So it could have been. It must be.
I mean, it's a. We were talking before we got on the air. Like, what an amazing. I mean, the entire cast. It's like a who's who of anybody from the 1970s. It must be such a privilege. I mean, you have everybody from James Caan and Sean Connery and Ryan O'Neal and Robert Redford, and I mean, the list goes on and on.
All the greats.
All the greats. Yeah.
They were, and he got that cast together, and every one of them were, leaders in their own platoon or army, and they were all, I thought, very, very well cast when you look back at it, because we had, Major Frost there, who was the leader. Who
that was Sean Connery, right? Or...
No. That was he got wounded in the end, but we had all the old soldiers there, and they were advising the crew, and we had technical advisors all the time with us. So we were just playing out what they actually achieved during the war, or what they didn't achieve. But it was enlightening. You became aware of what these men suffered, and we had their guys there with no hands, and a blind guy. One guy had his told the story while he was there. They were in a gun emplacement, and the bomb went off and took one guy's eyes, and the other one took his hands, and they were struggling between them to get out of the hole.
Oh my gosh.
And they were so brave.
Yeah.
They stayed friends all those years. Just
I mean,
it's a hell of a story to tell.
It's amazing, like that. Shooting a World War II to what we would call a period piece now, right? But back then, it was still only 30 years. I mean, this is all living memory.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, you were born, right? You were born during the Blitz.
Yeah.
And so when this actual battle happened, you were 5 years old. And so this is, I mean, there must have been some sense of importance to get this right.
Yes, I think it was for all of us of that era of that understood the war that our parents really went through, and and they looked after us youngsters, and the soldiers were 20, 18 to 20, 25. They were there, and they were fighting for king and country. So yeah, it was a hell of a story to tell. Maybe it was maybe too big to tell. I don't know. Somehow it was there, and we told it as best we could. The script was there, the Ryan Cornelius Ryan script, a book. So yeah, we were privileged, I think, to be part of it and to play homage to those men that had been there and suffered and done it.
I think sometimes the way casting works also is, when you cast older people to play younger people, I think people forget that all of those kids, a lot of them were all like 18. They were all really, really young back then. And sometimes when you get these actors, they really don't say their age. You just they just look, like they're older than, mid 20s, early 30s. And you just and they have the one young kid that's always there for the emotional impact. But it's really, they were all that young kid.
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy when you actually talk about the age.
And all those stars were playing, generals and captains of their age. Really, the generals were around about their age. They were at the time. I think Ryan O'Neill's Gavin was the youngest of the majors, generals. But I had a good time with Robert Redford. I was assigned to look after him, no matter what he did, how long he was on the movie. I was to be by his side, and he wasn't going to get hurt. So we would go to talk him through what we were doing and how we were going to do it, and then we would get off and do it. And there was one scene where we're taking Nijmegen Bridge, where a lot of American soldiers did die, taking Nijmegen. So we were coming up the steps to get onto the bridge itself and take out the machine gun posts on either side of the bridge. So I was with Robert Redford, and we rushed forward. We had a little group around us, and we rushed forward and sort of, I made sure he didn't fall over or anything or get in barbed wire. And we hit the steps and we sat there, and they said, okay, cut. The next one is that we're going to actually go up onto the bridge. So we were sitting there waiting for change of setup, and Robert turned to me and said, what's your character name? I hadn't been given a character name. I was just a soldier, and I couldn't think. And I thought, I said, Harry, hoping that it wasn't his name because I didn't know his character name, first name. So I said, Harry. So he said, okay. And he looked at me like I was now a really old buddy of his. We'd been through everything together. And he looked around. They said, turnover action. And he looked at me and he looked around at the situation. He just assessed what we were going to go through. And he turned to me and he said, Harry, let's do this. And we all got up and we rushed over over onto the bridge, and I had to go in front of him and clear all the barbed wire away, and so that he was safe. And then there was a bit of a problem because in the script, the Redford character takes the bridge at Nijmegen, whereas the Americans didn't take the bridge at Nijmegen. It was the Coldstream Guards in tanks coming over from the other side. So there was a bit of a problem about it, and they said that you can't change history. You can't have it just make him a bit more heroic to take Nijmegen Bridge. So there was a compromise decided. They said if you change history, you won't get a royal premiere.
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously it was changed, and so the compromise was we went on the bridge and took the Vauxhall, the gun emplacement, and then Redford goes forward, and as he's going forward, we're taking out the Germans hanging on the bridge, and then the tanks start to come over. When they're halfway over, then Redford waves them on. So it was a compromise that
Cool.
Americans and English did take Nijmegen Bridge.
I read somewhere that the composer of the soundtrack for the movie, I forget his name, was actually a veteran of this battle and was in the tank unit himself.
Really?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, it just goes back to what we're saying.
Why the music wasn't so, I guess, no pun intended, stereotypical.
No, the music was amazing.
Yeah.
We often say this after we have a job and we get to work with people that are considered, legends or top of the game right now, that sometimes it's the best part of the job is getting to watch these people, these masters at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that movie, it's like, and then even through your book, talking about meeting like Liz Taylor and Richard Burton and dancing with Charlie Chaplin, my God, it's like, it's such, what was that like for you? Because you didn't come to this industry, you came a little later, like in your 20s, right? So it was like,
I was 20 years old when I started fashion modeling.
And then,
so I didn't get into.
Then you end up kind of rubbing elbows with all these people that we now are like, oh my God, legendary. What was that like for you?
Wonderful. I mean, it was the swinging 60s. London was swinging, and somehow you knew it was a special time. The clothes, the music, everything about it, the Beatles. Yes, you knew this was a special time. So to be in London doing fashion and then doing films like Help, when I worked as an extra on Help with the Beatles, and I was a guy in a bar with a couple of others, and
That's
while
awesome.
we were in the pub, cheers. So we were in the pub and we were drinking, and in comes the Beatles. They rush in, and there's a panic going on, and they said there's a tiger here, and it's in the cellar of the pub. So they open up the flap and look down, and there it is, this ferocious tiger. And Ringo says the only way we can calm it down is to sing its favorite lullaby. So all morning we had to learn this song, singing with the Beatles. I thought they were singing a bit flat, but I didn't say anything. So we had to learn this, and then on the take we all had to sing it together. How Richard Lester put that film together, I don't know, because he was a director, and they never did two lines the same. They were clowning around all the time, but somehow he got it together. And then one afternoon, Peter Sellers came in because
Oh my gosh.
he'd worked with. I think Lester had worked with him on Running and Jumping and Standing Still. It's a goon film that he'd worked with Peter, and so in come Peter Sellers, and that was chaos all afternoon. They were clowning around, but I was lucky enough to go on to work with Peter Sellers on the Pink Panther movies.
I know, it's so amazing. You wrote about the the does your first of all, I remember my father used to take me to those movies as a kid. So like they were so iconic to me. You
I
know,
used to love going to see the Pink Panther movies.
oh
My
yeah.
God. Like, and I mean, I was at least, I'm kind of, I was like, that was probably right around where I remember
Yeah.
seeing things. You know what I mean? Because you could still, at least when I was growing up, you could still go see old movies in theaters.
Yeah.
Like they would just kind of have theaters that would just kind of do that and have things on a rotation that wasn't such like a big thing now. And it's like Jaws plays this month.
I mean, those were my introduction to Peter Sellers, and then I only really got to know the genius that he was later as I got older and started watching some of the older movies. But you write about the does your dog bite scene from the
What's
Pink
that?
Panther. The does your dog bite?
Yes. Yeah. That
Where
was funny to
oh my
be
God.
there.
Yeah, tell that story. That Paul will appreciate this story for sure.
Well, in the one of the scenes, Caluso has got to go into a hotel, and there's an old guy behind the reception, and Graham Stark said to Blake Edwards, "Can I play two parts?" Because he was also playing the sergeant in it. He said, "Can I play the old man?" He said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "But we've got to make you up." And so he was made up as this old Bavarian hotel keeper. So he's behind the reception, and Blake Edwards gave him this big bowl pipe, and it was an enormous bowl, and he said, "I want you to be smoking it and not take a lot of notice." So when he comes in and Caluso says he wants a room, you say, "Room? What room?" So that's the scene. So is Sellers comes in and Graham's smoking the pipe, and Blake says, "More smoke, more smoke." So he's puffing away, getting more smoke going up, and the scene goes on, and the Sellers says to the receptionist, "Graham, does your dog bite?" And Graham says, "No." So Sellers bends down to pat the dog, and it bites him. And he said, "I thought you said your dog doesn't bite." He said, "That's not my dog." So that's the scene. But while that was going on, while we was trying to get it, Blake is saying, "More smoke," and Graham is pumping away, and clouds of smoke coming up, and he starts to giggle. He says, yeah, a room? What? A room? What about that? So, yeah, he got worse and worse until he was laughing out loud every time Sellers came in, and then Sellers started laughing, and then everyone was laughing. And in the end, the crew was in hysterics. Everyone was just laughing.
That's great.
And Blake Edwards said, "No, we're not going to get this tonight. We shoot it again tomorrow." What they didn't tell Paul Graham is that they put hashish in the pipe, and he was pumping. He was laughing and laughing and just couldn't stop. So yeah, it was. There's some good fun on those
That's
movies.
hilarious.
Oh my God. That is so, and it just so it adds like so much. Like I want to go back and watch all these movies now,
Right?
with this knowledge, you know.
But when Sellers walked onto the set, that it was dead quiet. The first assistant would go, "Hey," and it was silent. And he would walk around with Blake Edwards, and he'd look at a set, and he's looking for business. It's like he'd go up to the electric lamp and sort of push it, and then he'd put his fingers in the top and pretend it was electric, and then he'd get the Hoover. All those things he just makes up as he's going around the set, like his hand going on the world. He's looking for, and it slips forward in the office and it pulls up. Yeah. So he was very inventive, but everyone respected while he was thinking, while what he was conjuring up in his mind, what business he could do, whether he could walk past the door and then come back to it, or trip up the step. It was all his business, and he was very good at it.
And did you ever work with him on anything besides the Pink Panther movies?
No, I don't think I did. I think he was in. There was another film I did a bit in, and I can't remember what it was. I think it was What's New, Pussycat, or that film that he was in. But I never really got to know him anything, by that. So no, I think it was mainly the Pink Panther movies.
So speaking of comedies, you were the original Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Oh my, another classic. Oh,
yeah.
And actually, technically, I guess
I was going to say Peter Sellers. I mean, not
no, it was Woody Allen and David Niven.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, David Niven. My bad.
David Niven played Bond.
Yeah,
the comedic Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is funny because you became such a big part of the Bond family, even though Casino Royale is not a quote unquote Bond movie,
right?
But it's
yeah. We were very lucky, and it was chaos. The film making the casino scene should have lasted a week, and it went on for a month, 2 months, I think. It went on forever, and they kept throwing things into it, like when I was an extra, I couldn't afford an evening suit, so I did a deal with a friend of mine who was the same size as I was, and he had an evening suit. So in those days, if you're in the Film Artists Association, you get two different calls. You get a normal call, or you get a smart call. Now, a smart call, you had to wear an evening suit, and the girls had to wear long dresses, but you got more money for a smart call than you did a normal call. So I did a deal with him. I'd go over to his house and pick up the suit and wear it for a call like this one. It went on forever. And I earned more money because I had a evening suit. So we were running around that casino with cowboys and Indians going backwards and forwards, bubbles everywhere, fights going on. And at one time, they put me in one of my first stunts. This is '66. I was an Indian going around a teepee, and with a tomahawk, and our backsides catch on fire. So my backside was on fire, and I'm running around the casino with my backside on fire. So yeah, it was a crazy, crazy movie. They had about 6 directors.
Wow,
just crazy. Good fun though, for us.
Oh, amazing! I mean, it sounds amazing. But one of the things that struck me reading your book, it's not about a specific movie, but it's about the culture of being a stunt performer at the time, really, and working and doing background or doing like what they would call today special ability or something like that. And you write it throughout the book. You write about the different jobs you had and ways to pay the bills when you weren't getting gigs. It doesn't feel that much different today, honestly. I mean, it's like most performers are still trying to figure out how to pay the bills.
I have a full-time job.
Yeah, and have another job to survive, the survival job.
I'm so it's funny, but I've never been so happy to have my days off during the week.
Yeah, I mean,
I just switch them around when I take stunt work.
And even you write in the book about creating the first booklet. What was it called? The first database, like the stunt.
Oh, the stunt register.
Yes.
Well, we had no organization in those days, and there was no insurance. Before, I remember standing up. I was falling off a roof into a layer of boxes, and I was about to fall, and they said roll cameras, and then the producer ran on and said stop. Has he signed this? And I said, sign what? He said, you got to come down, you got to sign it. And it's what we used to call a bloodshed. You're signing away your common law rights. If anything happened to you, if the building fell down and it crushed you, it's your fault. You shouldn't have, you're a stuntman. So you couldn't claim for anything but the company could sue you if you damaged something or hurt somebody.
First
course.
job
So
I ever took, we were sitting there with about 3 other stunt guys and 10 other extras, and they're like, "Hey, can you guys do this?" And everyone was like, "Yeah." And I looked at all of them, and I was like, and this is the first time I met Eric Son, who we had on the show, and I was like, "Guys, if you aren't 1,000% that you can do this, and no, you're not going to get hurt," I was like, "You better put your hands down." I was like, "Because if you get hurt, you're on your own." I was like, "You're paying for everything." I go, "Your own hospital, your own ambulance." I go, "These guys aren't covering shit."
This was a Bollywood movie.
And literally 10 people put their hands down, and 4 of us were recycled on a room full of 20 guys, a rooftop full of 20 guys to do all the stunts.
But I guess that leads up to my question from your.
So it hasn't changed.
Yeah, no, but some things have changed and some things haven't. But in your experience, what progression, what has changed for the better in the industry, and what is still a problem?
it's changed so much from a health and safety point of view. We never had any health and safety. I never had any pads. We never had pads. So my first back pad was a piece of foam back carpet. I cut out to the shape of my back, a bit of string through it. That was luxury, falling down concrete stairs or iron stairs. And no one had, we used to use hockey pads, or if we were doing a car crash, then you could use them inside. Or football pads, like little tiny shin pads. So you just made up. Sometimes you'd have to use cardboard or paper just to take the edge off, sort of rolling down the street or whatever. So yeah, it was very crude in those days. We had no insurance, and there was no organisation as such, because in '66 a group of them got together and became very social. They, take their wives out on once a month or so, but did nothing to get respect in the industry. They were respected for what they did, but they didn't want. They were being paid cash, and the cash was king in those days. You didn't want to sign a contract, because that meant that you would have to pay tax on the money that you're getting. So it was difficult to get those people to finally give up the cash and say, no, we'll be paid like the actors. We get paid by check. So eventually we all did that, and in 1973 we decided that if we could go with equity, and we could have gone behind the cameras. We could have gone with Ep4, which is the cruise in sort of
like
union.
IATSE. Yeah.
Yeah. But we figured that we'd get more support from the actors, so we went with equity, and we became a registered group of stunt people, professional, in 1973. So now they are athletes. I'd never get in. Our group of people would never become stuntmen compared to what they are today. They are absolute athletes. Some of them are actually Olympic gymnasts. And they want to be stunts. So they come in and they have to start from the scratch again. They have to fulfill about 6 different categories of sport before they can actually come onto the register, and they have to be recognized. And these days, in fact, Jacqueline teaches the young stunt trainees to act. They have
Oh, cool.
They have to do like 38 hours a week a time before they can become fully fledged stunt performers. And when you think about it, we've only started that maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Every time you walk in front of a camera, you're acting. It don't matter whether you're doubling somebody or you're playing a heavy. You've got to be part of that scene. You've got to make that scene happen, because you're all in it. So yeah, when we started, we were extras, so we knew exactly what to do on the set. We were part of it because we'd learnt to be part of it over the time that we were being on stage. whether it's on, on theatre or whether you're in film or TV. You become part. You're acting your part. You may be doubling for somebody just before you're running up and getting exploded. But the way you run is the way the actor runs. So you copy whatever they do, and you become. When I doubled for Jaws, jumping from cable car to cable car, I couldn't do a lovely jump across. I had to jump like Jaws.
Yeah, this was Jaws from Moonraker, right?
Moonraker.
Yeah.
So even he's 7'3". So we had the Bond and the lady bending down a little, and they were shorter. So that when I landed on the other cable car, I looked 7'3", but the movement had to be like Jaws. I couldn't do a flash jump or whatever. Or you act that your character or his character part.
But you actually you went to school for acting. Was that a rarity? I mean, was in the community, at the stunt community at that time, were you clearly saw the need to learn how to act? But was that a ubiquitous thing, or were you unique at the time?
No one did it. I was being given little parts, and I on TV like the Baron or the Saint. So I thought, I should learn about this acting stuff. So I went to drama school evening course for 3 years, and toured America and Berlin, and during the Cold War I went across Checkpoint Charlie. Just amazing experiences at that time for students to be able to do that. And I did it, and I loved acting. I love stage work. It's so much more immediate, and you get a response from the audience, no matter how you play it. So
yeah.
Well, and they've got it's if you think about it, most stunt people, all if not, should follow in those footsteps, because it's easy for us to do the things that we know well, just like it's easy for an actor to go from acting in a scene to finishing a conversation with somebody else and then going back to acting that scene. We can do that with fighting and whatever, but the hardest thing and the worst critique and the worst day I ever had on set was my first day, when I could not make the adjustment to not look like I knew how to do things, not look like, just to look like a knucklehead, to be a character. And if I had that training before that day, it would have been gold. It would have been gold.
I mean, people ask me what's the most surprising thing when I first got into the stunt business, and I said it was this was all a while ago, so it was like how many auditions I would actually have to go to, where the coordinator would call me up and say, "Hey, we know you got the fight stuff, but you have to go in and read for this part." You know what I mean? And I had no background in acting at all. So yeah, so we have a friend who's an actor, and we just were like, you need to start coaching us. It was terribly scary. I still get more nervous when I have to deliver lines than I have to do any physical action.
Well, you guys know, you've experienced it. You know what it's like, and what it's like for these young guys coming in. And Jacqueline says they come in on Monday morning absolutely terrified that they're going to have to act. And she said by Friday they are brilliant and they want to do more, because it's a release. Once you know you're on set and you're given a part, you feel comfortable with it. You can deal with it. Whereas before that you would be terrified. I don't want to say anything. I don't want don't give me dialogue. So it helps them a lot, and it helps any scene to have everybody with their focus of attention on whatever should be looked at. It's like in a theatre, you've got an audience of 1,000 people, and you're on the stage, and somebody's speaking downstage. If you start looking away from them, you're taking all the focus attention away from their dialogue, their bit, because you're taking the audience to watch what you're looking at. So It's it's called upstaging. It happens on stage, but you shouldn't do it. It's the same in the camera. When you're in the background, you don't start moving or doing something that would detract from the actor's performance. So yes.
I heard a story that Yul Brynner had a beef with Steve. Was it Steve McQueen in Westworld? Because McQueen kept upstaging him in the background.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you've only got to start doing something.
Yeah.
And suddenly your eye goes to it. So,
yeah.
Well, that happened. That's what happened to me on Gotham when the actor flagged me and I dropped my gun behind him. The camera was right in his face, and it was an action I did right behind camera, but it was instinctual because he flagged the pistol. He flagged my shotgun, so I dropped it and pulled it up around the other side of camera, so it literally made a U. And then I immediately went to the stunt coordinator's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was like, it was just instinctual for me to drop the gun. And then he was like, dude, the director loved it. He wants to keep doing it. I was like, okay, awesome.
Got lucky. Yeah.
But I got lucky. But the first thing I did was apologize.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was like, it was just instinct. And he's like, you're good. I was like, oh.
So what brought you to, let's fast forward past the Bridge Too Far. There's so many things that when I got to the end of your book and it said, we're going to talk about this book, this movie, this movie, this movie,
this one, and then this one, and then this one. And then I came in and I was like, we're going to talk about this one and this one and this one.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see on the wall. On the wall is the American Werewolf in London movie poster.
Oh, right. Yes.
It's one of the movies that inspired me to get into this business, and I know you worked on it. So, and it's not in the book, but do you have an American Werewolf in London story that you could share with us?
Yes, indeed. It's coming. I'm editing it at the moment. It was. I was given the part of a bus conductor, and in American Werewolf in London, a bus goes into Piccadilly Circus in the centre of London, with 5 different roads coming in to this little circus, and as it's going around the circus, a wolf runs out of the shop. And the driver skids the bus. It skids round. I'm the bus conductor. I come flying off the back and hit some cars, and 22 cars crash into the bus from behind, all around it. So we got to do this on a Saturday night in London. John Landis was the director. He got eventually permission, and so we're shooting it on a Saturday night in London. About 11:30, we're ready for the first big take.
11:30 on a Saturday night?
Yeah.
That's a busy time.
On location.
It was crazy, but they got permission, so we did it.
Yeah.
So I'm standing on the back of the bus as in my conductor's uniform, my hat, and got my tickets. So, and you've got a little pouch on the side of it's an open back bus, remember, the London buses as they used to be.
Yeah. And there was like a little stairway that you could go up in the back, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there on the platform waiting to go. The idea is that there's Dave Bickers, who is our
another legend
engineer. He's placed casters in the center of the bus, or towards slightly towards the back of the bus, and when he pushes a lever, casters go down, so that as the bus is going into the circus, the driver turns a wheel, he pulls the casters down, and it actually does a 90-degree round into in that small space, which is very difficult. So we're all set to do it, and I've got when I got a walkie-talkie and I put it in the ticket box, and I'm listening. And when they say stand by and action, I've got to ding the bell, which makes the driver take off, and all the action goes in behind us. We've got extra cars holding back all the normal civilian drivers. We've got to stop them getting into the crash. So we've got the bus goes first, then we got the stunt cars coming in behind, then we got the extra cars blocking off anyone else that might want to go in there. So it was standby, roll cameras, and a guy jumped on the bus. He said, "Victoria, mate." I said, "What?" He said, "Victoria." I said, "No, you don't want to get on this bus." He said, "I know the rules." He said, "If your light's up, you've still got to take me." I said, "You don't want to get on this bus." And there was action. I dinged the bell and I had to physically push him off the bus. And then we went down the road and 22 cars crashed in there. I just wonder what he thought when he walked up the road and saw the carnage.
Oh my gosh.
On that bus.
I mean, that scene is incredible, and it's still so relevant today. I mean, the wolf, which was all practical effects, looked absolutely real. Absolutely.
Oh, it was scary. As I say, I was doubling the guy who is in the underground. The last person lost his. The trains have gone, and he's standing there with a walking stick with an umbrella and his case. And it's empty, and he looks around and he hears, and he sort of looks at, "Hello, anyone there?" And I was doubling for him, so Landis had the camera behind my body, and we had to see the head of the wolf come round the corner. Well, I can't tell you, it was enormous. The head was enormous, and it came round and there was teeth and there was all slither coming off the teeth. And then the shoulders came round, the front two legs came round, and then the back legs came round. I thought, this is real. How are they doing this? It was enormous. And they had a body inside, a guy inside laying up for the body, operating the two front legs. And they had two guys just round the corner operating the back legs. And they had animatronics on the face, and the eyes was moving, and it was scary. And when he said run, I ran.
I mean, that scene, the end of that scene, right when he's at the top of the escalator, looking down, and you see the wolf coming out. It really is amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, the problem was I had to jump over the barrier and then start to run up the down steps of the escalator. And as I fell forward, because the teeth that fold into each other are very sharp on the edge of the steps, so I sort of I cut my hands when I first fell down, and then I had to put plaster on them to do it again.
Yeah.
But to turn around and see that thing coming at you was scary.
That's amazing. That's amazing to be a part of that.
Yeah, totally. And in fact, when we met Dickie Beer, right? I think he worked on that film with you as well, correct? And then I read in the book that you auditioned him. You guys auditioned him at A Bridge Too Far. He was the only Dutch guy that passed the tests, right? So it's full circle.
Yeah, and he's excellent. And I go on signings with him occasionally. And yeah, we have such a good night. Oh, any night we're out together, telling stories, because we worked on so many movies together.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry? No, that's right. No, we thought we interrupted you.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought I cut you off.
No, we met him at a signing at Comic-Con here in New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had him sign our Boba Fett stuff.
Yeah, he signed all the Boba Fett stuff, Return of the Jedi stuff, and which I think you were in that. You were in that scene as well, the Return of the Jedi skiff scene.
I was on the barge, and then I played the Verdane, the skiff pilot, who has a fight with Billy D. Williams, and then we get blown up, and then I fall down into the Sarlacc pit. Only the cable broke on Billy D. Williams' stunt double, and he fell on top of me and broke my leg, and I rolled into the Sarlacc pit.
Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
Instead of me falling 12 feet and rolling down into the pit with him on top of me, the cable broke on him, and he tried to grab it, and everything went in slow motion. We're on the skiff, and now it's like 20 feet down, and I got handholds on his costume, and we're going to, but supposedly the cable's going to hold him back to the skiff. I'm going to struggle, and then he's going to shake me off, and I'm going to fall 12 feet, roll down into the Sarlacc pit, which is about 8 feet hole in the center. So, but on the take, the explosion went off. The cable broke on his harness, and he tried to grab it, and a little bit of metal on the end of it went through his hand, and I saw the blood go chee, all in slow motion. I thought that shouldn't have happened. And now we're falling backwards, and he's 14 stone on top of me.
Oh no!
My right leg went into the side of the foam that they put all around the Sarlacc pit, and that just held my foot, and my leg broke. And as I was tumbling into the Sarlacc pit, I thought, I've broken my leg. And I thought, if I can see my toes and they're pointing upwards, that's only one bone. If it's the other way, that's two, that's bad. And I just threw him off as we went into the Sarlacc pit, and my toes were pointing up. And I thought, thank goodness for that.
Oh, for real.
One bone.
When I broke my leg, it was the other way. My foot was pointing.
Yeah.
Pointing backwards.
Horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, these are all performer stories, and I don't know how much of the show you know about. But we always try to dress our set with some cultural, cool stuff that our guests have been on. But you've been in so much stuff. So this one, hold on, I'm going to come.
Oh, that's him. Yeah. Yes.
Now, and these have been all performer stories, but this one you coordinated this movie that is one of our favorites, and we should finish with this one.
Yes.
Alien.
That's him. Yeah.
Well, also, you worked on a guilty pleasure of mine too. Actually, one of my favorite movies, which Spies Like Us. One of my favorite Spies Like Us.
Lovely! Yes,
that's one of my favorite comedy movies ever. And A Knight's Tale. You were the sword or fight choreographer, and
yes, I was second unit. I was the main.
And you were uncredited
coordinator.
And Dragonheart, one of my favorites.
A Knight's Tale is like a guilty pleasure of mine. I watch that movie all the time. It was so surprisingly. In all honesty, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Like the music, the way the whole movie went together, but it's so great.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just because, I don't know, I guess a movie that makes you feel good is just going to work. And the movie just kind of makes you feel good. It's a good movie.
Yeah. So when did you make the leap to coordinating from performing to coordinating?
It happens as you're going along. You learn your business. When I took when Ray Austin was a stunt coordinator on the Avengers, and I was doubling for Steed, just driving the Bentleys and the Rolls Royces, but I wasn't his stunt double. Rocky Taylor was his stunt double, and Rocky had an accident and left, and I got into his costume and did the fight. So that was, my first fight. So at the end of that series, the Ray was leaving, and the producers asked me to stunt coordinate it. And I had so much respect for stunts and what we were trying to achieve. I didn't think I was experienced enough to lead it. So I said, no, I'd rather not. I'll stay as Steve's stunt double, but I won't coordinate. But I was doing other stuff, coordinating as I was going along, really. And I got a call to do a bank robbery just up the road from the Elstree Studios, and what it was that 3 guys pull up, or 4 guys pull up outside a bank, rush in, and we're going to shoot the interior back in the studio, but we've got to do the running into the pushing people away, going in, getting the money, and then we got to do the run out and drive away. That's it. So I get 2 guys, I get a couple of guys, Del and Rocky, and I phone them up and say, you're okay for tomorrow? We're going to do the bank robbery at Elstree. Yes, they're all ready. I said, I'm waiting for the fax. In those days, you had to wait for a fax for the call sheet. So I said, I'll call you back when I got the exact time. I think we've got to be at the studio about 8, but I'll let you know what time we've got to be at the bank. So another guy. So I phone him up and I say, Nick, you all right for tomorrow? He says, yes. I said, you're the getaway driver. He said, what time? I said, hold on, I'm waiting. And the fax went ding. So I said, I'll call you right back. I'll get the time for you. So got the fax, had to be at the bank at 11 o'clock. So I phoned him straight back. I said, Nick, tomorrow morning outside the bank, we've got to be out there at 11 o'clock. I said, Rocky will have a shooter. I'll have a sawn-off shotgun, and Dell have a pistol, a small pistol. I said, but you're a getaway driver. If you, alongside your seat, you'll have a baseball bat. If the local public get involved, you can see them off. I said, and there was I said, oh, have you got a black balaclava? There was a long pause, and a voice said, oh, I think you've got the wrong number. I said, I'm sorry. It's not for you. It's not for you. Whoever I phoned must have been terrified.
Oh, my God.
But, that happens in films. You're make-believe. And,
that's so funny. That's hysterical.
But yeah,
I was thinking like waiting for the fax call sheet. Even though we have emails today, it doesn't seem like it's any faster. I still feel like we're waiting. Like I still haven't got the call sheet. What's the call sheet for tomorrow? I have no idea. I haven't gotten it yet.
So, or sometimes I'll ask and they'll be like, "We're still shooting, dude. Have patience." And I'm like, "Okay, it's 2 a.m."
Yeah. That's such a great story. And you're still active. I mean, do you have anything coming up that you're working on, or do you do anything behind the camera?
I've been asked for my availability in July and October, I think. So something will be coming up. Last year we finished on Tom Cruise's latest movie, Judy. That was great fun. We had a good punch up. Must have been 30 stunt boys and girls in this auditorium, and just Tom Cruise did a monologue like you wouldn't believe. He should get an Oscar for it. He did about a 5-6 minute monologue and talking to a crowd of 300 people, 35 stunts in front of the committee or whatever it's supposed to be, like a government get together. And he went through us. He went up, climbed up the stairs, went over the top of us, walking on tables, and doing this dialogue that so brilliantly. And we all had to jeer or laugh at certain points, to which give him a boost. He'd say, "Do you want me to stop drilling?" And and he'd come back at us. It was a wonderful performance for us to witness him playing this part. And we finished up with a lovely big fight.
Oh, that's
all over the place. And so, I'm still doing it. I'm still enjoying doing it. So
that's amazing. Yeah, like we said, it's a blessing to see these masters at work.
Mm-hmm. It's also very encouraging to see everyone still working.
Yeah.
Other what? Sorry.
Still working.
Yes.
It's such a fantastic story. It's amazing, inspirational.
Yeah. Well, a guy texted me yesterday. Said, "I thought you were retiring." I said, "I'll retire when the phone stops ringing." And that's all you can do. You guys know the same. You just carry on doing what you're enjoying, and I'm enjoying it. And just putting it down in the book it's been so wonderful. I've really enjoyed it. I never thought I could write a book, but they've been onto me for so long now that I said, all right, like 4 years ago, I started getting ideas together and didn't know how to start, as I say, from the beginning. If you're about to die, they say your life flashes before you. So that gave me the inspiration to start, well, what would have happened if that had happened? I'd have seen my life in front of me. And that's how I started during the war and the 50s, 60s, and going into the 80s, really.
I mean, honestly, we didn't talk much about it, but I really encourage people to pick up the book, because the whole first part of the book about your childhood and growing up in that at that time, is really fascinating.
And I'm dyslexic as well, so I was completely amazed at the fact that you wrote an entire book, because I was asked to write a chapter of a Krav Maga book once, and it was one of the most grueling things I've ever had to do in my life.
Yeah.
Was to I had my wife go over it like over and over and over again, because I can't, and it's so weird. When I was in school, they used to put me in a room when I had to take tests when I was in math, because 35 became 53, and you do your work, right? Your work is all fucking wrong, and you get your answer right because you're really doing it all in your head and you're just faking your work. So they're like, okay, this guy's cheating. So they had to put me in a room by myself to take my math tests. And then I still had to do all the fucked up work with the right answers. And they're like, okay, there's just, and I'm like, look, it's just 53 I don't see it. It's 53 to me. It's not 35 until maybe I take a 2-hour break and come back into the room.
It is difficult. And as I say, we weren't diagnosed with any problems at all. And you just were treated as though I was treated as though I was a bit dumb, a bit thick.
Yep.
Because I just couldn't see the words on the boards. They were jumbled up. So it was slightly different, but I had to deal with it, and I've had to deal with it all my life. So.
Especially learning lines, that had to be quite difficult. I had my first big audition with lines and a scene and everything, and I was kind of freaking out. And then Steve's like, dude, he goes, we'll just do it together and we'll record the whole scene on the phone. And then that's what I did. And I just listened to the scene. And then through that, I was able to come up with, I was like, maybe I'll do the part this way and maybe I'll do that. And then you just kind of turn the volume down on your part. And, and it was just kind of opened up a whole other way to learn lines without having to use the thing that's so difficult for me, which is words and reading them.
Yeah. So when is the next book? When do you expect the volume 2 to? Are there 2 volumes, or is there going to be a third one too?
There could be a third one, because it's the second one goes from Raiders of Lost Ark up to Death Train. I'm taking in Spies Like Us, Lassiter, Octopussy, Frankenstein,
just
Unbound, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh my gosh! There could be a third. There should be a third. Yeah.
I just can't get it. If I want to tell the stories, and I've left a lot out because a lot of the early days of the TV series that I did, I just couldn't, there just wasn't room for those stories. And these just, they're going on a bit, but there's the Star Wars movies, GoldenEye. When I stayed, I did a film in Jamaica for Island Records, Chris Blackwell. I was directing second unit. So he said to me, if you do another day, I'll give you a car and you can stay at the GoldenEye, where Ian Fleming wrote the Bonds. So I couldn't resist it, could I?
Oh, yeah.
So I went there and I stayed there for 2 weeks on the Cove, and I had the original. Those days, the cook, she was lovely old lady, thick Jamaican accent, but just tell me stories about, Noel Coward used to go there, David Niven, and she said that naughty Errol Flynn. Oh, he was naughty. And then Bob Marley bought it off the Fleming family. My bedroom was in his study, and the desk was still there in the corner. And I used to sit there thinking, God, what could I write?
Oh, amazing.
Didn't get a lot of inspiration, but it was a wonderful experience.
While we're on Bond, I think we have to finish with the fire burn that everybody talks about from License to Kill.
It was even mentioned on our last show.
Yeah, we are.
Really?
last week we interviewed Jude Poyer.
We had Jude Poyer, and that was the last thing that we had talked about.
He said you have to ask him about the License to Kill fire burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's that one there.
Oh, yep.
Oh, we see in the
There it
background.
is.
Yeah. That's full body.
And so that was. Are we correct? That was not in the original version of the film, and then it was added back in later.
No, it was in.
On the
They
DVD
just
4K, the Blu-ray.
Yeah, they cut it down a lot because it was too long. I figured I was going to do. I was stunt coordinating. I got an American guy to come and do the fire burn. I was too busy, making sure everything else was all right. And then the day before we were going to do it, he came to me. He said, "Look, if I leave tonight, I can get a job for a couple of months." I said, "All right, you go off, leave your air bottle. I'll do it myself." So he went off, and I had some. He left his gloves and the 3 minutes of air, because once you put the mask on, you can't breathe when you're doing a full burn. So you're on 3 minutes of air, and I figured by the time I get into all the costume, the underwear, which is soaked in gel, then you put your fire suits on. I had 2 fire suits. Then the costume of Sanchez, his costume, and then they put the rubber mask on, and then the wig. I figured that's going to take a minute and a half. If I can get to by the camera,
Right.
after 2 minutes, I can still be breathing. And when they then gel you up with the fire gel, and they set me fire, I figured I'd have 30 seconds to do the fire job and then fall over and be put out. The problem is that it took a bit longer to get the costume right and whatever. I got in front of the camera, and they said, "Okay, roll cameras. Hold on, we've got a problem with the camera." And I'm going, sucking up through this little tube. And then they said, "Okay, set him alight." And that's when I ran out of air. And I went, nothing. So now I've got to do the whole thing with no air. So I panicked a little bit. I went down on my knees, got up, did everything I'd rehearsed, went alongside the truck, felt the rocks on the floor where the flame bar was, that as I fell over it, they were going to bring the flame bar up behind me as though it all blows up. So yeah, that was, I was out of air by the time they set me on fire. All I could see was out of one little of the scratch it and one of the eyes protections, I could see Timothy Dalton sitting there looking very apprehensive. And they set me on fire. I did the job, fell over, but I was completely out of air. And they took the mask off, and they pulled me to my feet, shaking hands, and the director came, "Oh, what a great job," whatever. That's when I was burning. The heat transference through the costume was getting, finally got through. The first, my first fire suit was burnt completely at the back, gone. So I'm glad I had 2 on. But yeah, I had a bit of scorch under here, and I think it's where I was breathing or trying to breathe, and it turned to steam.
Oh, wow.
But apart from that, the gloves weren't that good, but it was all right. So yeah, it was.
He gets a bad rap, but Timothy Dalton, Living Daylights, is one of my favorite Bond movies.
I thought he was great. I loved.
He's one of my faves.
But and you worked with Lazenby too
Mm-hmm.
on the one Lazenby film.
No, I didn't. I never worked on that. No, there's 2 that's on IMDb that I didn't work on, but they still say I did. I was around while they were doing it, and I was helping out, but I never actually worked on it, so I can't claim to fame of that.
Well, the record has been set straight here for sure. But this has been so great. Thank you so much for taking the time
to talk to us and tell us awesome stories.
And we're definitely going to pump up the book. It's so good, and I can't wait for volume 2. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, well, it won't be long. It'll probably come out in September, October,
right around the corner.
Oh, awesome! Well, thank you so much, man. Any final thoughts? before we?
No, so thank you for plugging the book. And if they want a signed copy, if they go onto my website, info@paulwestonstunts.com, then I can sign a copy like I did for you to sign
awesome.
a copy.
Oh yeah, and thank you so much for my copy. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
It's
And
great.
if they get if they can give me a review if they like it,
Mhm.
give me a review on Amazon, that'd be great because it pushes it up to the
Mhm.
algorithms or something. I have no idea, but
The
it's supposed to be
almighty.
good for
The
you.
almighty algorithm.
Yes.
Yeah,
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, and maybe we'll have you back when volume 2 comes out.
yeah, that'd be my pleasure. I love talking to you guys because you understand what what I go through and what we've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Totally. Right. Well, take care, man.
Thanks again.
pleasure. Take care. Bye.
Yes. Bye. Film Fights with Friends is produced by Stephen Kepfer, Paul Veracci, Press Record Studios, and Breakball Studios. This episode was engineered by Matthew Kaplowitz. This show is powered by our supporters at Patreon and is a registered trademark of Film Fights with Friends LLC. Original theme by Aru Luster.